What's up, everyone? All right, well, here we are. This is the absolute worst way that I could have finished the week and the worst way that I could have started the new month of August. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated, but it is what it is. These things happen. So, two China stocks got the better of me today. Both lower price stocks jumped in. One of them, almost instant rejection, down $36,000 in probably less than a minute. And then the second stock jumped in, lost 7,000, and that was it. And then there was nothing else that really set up today. And I didn't even take my first trade. Well, geez, when we look at the charts here, I don't think I took my first trade until close to 8 a.m., maybe even a little bit later. Might have even been 8:30. So this was the stock here. Yeah, it was right at 8:30. MSW, Hong Kong stock, was kind of squeezing up here, and all of a sudden surges from $1.80 to $2.20, $2.40. And I pulled it up and I was like, wow, okay, this thing is moving really fast. Typically, that's what I like to see. And so basically what I did, we'll get on the 10-second chart here so I can show you. It starts to pop up. I pull it up sort of right in this area. I got the level 2 up. It hits a high here of 280. It dips down, and I jump in right there with 30,000 shares. That's my starter. It pops up here to a high of 330. I don't take any profit off the table. At this point, I'm watching the hold through the first sort of proper micro pullback and add. So right here, I added another 30,000 shares. First candle to make a new high. It squeezes up to 340, and I'm like, here we go. I've got 60,000 shares. I'm looking for a squeeze through 350 and a move up to $4 a share. That is not what happened. It dropped here right back down to 270, drops here to 260, and in this moment, I held. I didn't sell until these candles right here, and I got completely smoked. So I ended up losing about 50 cents a share on 60,000 shares, so down $36,744.01. And that was all within the span of about a minute and a half. Wow, it's amazing. Easy come, easy go. That's tough. Nobody likes that. The thing for me, the bright side, silver lining, I've been trading with bigger size, and I've been producing bigger profits. But, when you take big size, you're going to have bigger losses as well. And unfortunately, this week, they've been clustered together. Now, that is typically the case. Typically, when I'm on a nice hot streak, my winners are clustered together. And when I'm on when I'm in a little bit of a slump, the losers get clustered together. So this is a little bit, it's interesting because here for July, I've got 3 losses, within 2 weeks of each other, basically. 3 red days. So the 17th, the 28th, and here on the 1st. And that brings me up to 5 red days for the entire year. So 3 of them are within 2 weeks. So that, I think that's noteworthy. The red day I had back here, I recovered from it. Was still recovered entirely the next day, and then ended up making 240,000 the next week, but then came in Monday of this week and got smoked, right? And I got smoked on one of the crypto plays. So we got this kind of just really frustrating move, and it is what it is. And then small green day on Tuesday, small green day on Wednesday, was up 30,000 yesterday. So basically was up $50,000 across these 3 days, and then just lost 44,000. So, unfortunately, I'm going to be finishing the week, in the red. It is what it is. I mean, I was really hoping that I could recover the week, but didn't happen. So, in hindsight, I was very patient this morning. When we first sat down, the leading gapper was NAMM. I was like, no, float's too high at 45 million shares. Not going to trade it. FIG IPO from yesterday was like, nope, too expensive. Not going to trade it. And MSW initially was on the scans, and it was a little cheaper, and I said no. And MWYN was also on the scans, a little cheaper, and I said no, not interested. But I also broke the ice on this one. So I finally broke the ice on MSW simply because it was moving so quickly. It was right at 8:30, and I was like, okay, here we go. We're getting a squeeze. And I wondered, I said, is there news? I'm not sure, but man, this thing's moving fast. So I jumped on in the spot where I typically would. This micro pullback here was green, added right here. And, typically this is a move that would have given us that continued squeeze if there had actually been news at 8:30. There was no news. That was a problem. So sort of got fooled there thinking that there was news because of when it started popping up, but there was no news. So it rejects, and I give it a second, and then, finally take the loss. Now, I could have sold a little faster. I even could have taken profit at times when I was green. But in any case, I did not. So then MWYN was the next stock that pops up. And this stock, I was like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work. But I don't want to sort of disregard the fact that it is the number one leading gainer in the market. It's very obvious. And so I jumped in it as it broke this level right here at $1.80. So I bought it at $1.80 right there, and I was like, okay. I added at 85. I was looking for the squeeze through this flat top, and it just couldn't do it. Could not do it. Sold as it came back down. Ends up rallying back up, and I didn't get back in. I was tempted to, and I just said, you know what? Forget it. The stock is too cheap. You didn't like it in the first place, and the only reason you started trading it was for lack of anything else and hoping maybe it would start to pull away and I could recoup a little bit of my loss. Max loss is $50,000, minus 44, so not quite at the max loss, but deep enough in the red that I'm feeling bummed out and disappointed. So, and I mean, the fact is this week hasn't been a great week. There's no way around that. That's just the reality. But obviously, I've had July was a solid month. Well, I haven't imported the trades from Friday yet, but I was up 30,000 or whatever, Thursday. I was up $30,000 yesterday. So we'll be at about 1.1 million for the month. It's not quite as much as I made in June. June was a better month. This could have beat June, except for the last week. This last week was just a miss. So why was that? Can we sort of attribute that to anything specific? Sometimes like, oh well, I started, I don't know. I started trading a different strategy. Well, that doesn't work. No, that's not what happened. I didn't change strategies. I didn't, nothing really. Significant. I mean, I did have my endoscopy here, the Caitlyn Jenner episode, and so that obviously is. I mean, is it all from that? One might say yes, probably is, but for lack of any better conclusion. But I think in reality, Monday I just came in swinging hard, and I got smoked. It is what it is. That we came in on Monday morning with VAPE, VAPE. The problem, on this was you had a stock that they leaked the news. Somebody leaked the news, and the stock goes, up big time, and then the news comes out like right here, and it's a dud, or whatever it was right here. It's a dud. Because everyone already knew the news, so they were selling in profit. So so I got tricked on that one, and then we had CRVO. This one had a sort of nasty move on Monday as well, big sort of rejection, as you could see here. So that one got me pretty badly. All right, so just a really sort of big rejection, and then today. We didn't have much that was good. I was pretty content for it to be a no trade day. And then when we started suddenly seeing this big move, I was right at 8:30. I was like, okay, here we go. Jumped on and didn't work. Now, something that is interesting is that I was told after this trade that this symbol was blocked at a lot of brokers. It wasn't blocked for me. I was able to trade it. But apparently E-Trade, Thinkorswim, Charles Schwab, a number of brokers had blocked this company, so you can't even trade it. For some reason, I don't know, they there's something they're concerned about. So I think that there's two sort of important things there. Number one, might be something going on with this company that's led people to say, our clients shouldn't even be allowed to trade it. All right. My broker doesn't really ever put those restrictions on any stock, which is, I think, generally good. But, other brokers did. So there's something going on with this company. And then number two, so many traders are with Charles Schwab, and with E-Trade and some of these other brokers, that all of a sudden you've got, half of all the retail traders who can't even trade this even if they wanted to. So less volume and less follow through. Now, the fact is, if this had actually had news, it probably would have kept going higher. But the fact that it popped up there as if it had news, but there was no news, that's kind of interesting. So I don't know. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Fell for the China hustle on MSW, and MWYN also has foreign Chinese exposure. So yeah. So anyways, it is what it is. I mean, you could put a rule on, I'm never going to trade another Hong Kong stock. The problem, or Chinese company, the problem is probably know, the month of February, for instance, we had a cycle where it was like back-to-back Chinese stocks. And, at that time, it was like, boy, am I really going to say no to trading some of these moves? I ended up making, let's see, so February was $497,000, right? So I didn't want to say no to trading what was moving. I approached them with caution. I said, these can be risky. We got to be careful. But right now, they're moving really well. So the cycle changes. Obviously, crypto and Bitcoin treasury catalysts have worked really well through kind of really like this whole year. But they've been getting abused a little bit, where that headline is no longer as significant as it once was because so many people are putting it out. It's kind of like the boy who cries wolf. At a certain point, you're like, okay, everyone's got, my grandparents are putting out crypto treasury headlines. I mean, it's like, Bob's Plumbing is doing a crypto treasury. It's getting overdone. And so it's no longer resulting in the stock going up 50 or 100% the way it was when it sort of first came out. And that's typically the way these news cycles work. They're very effective. You get these huge moves, and then they kind of peter out. And so I think we're on the backside, but I may be surprised. Maybe we will still have a few more that pop up and give us big moves. So now, coming into the month of August, I've got a little problem. I'm starting the month in the red. I don't like that. But this is part of trading, ups and downs. And you guys, you see it here. This year, I've been really fortunate to avoid, some of these bigger losses. And now we're seeing a little bit more chop this week. And so I'm kind of like, all right, how do I adapt? One of the things I had mentioned earlier in the week was that it was really important for me to recover half of the loss from Monday, and I did. I recovered half of the loss. I was only still down $7,000 on the week coming into today. So I was basically positioned where I'd be recouping the loss and be, back to all-time highs today with even just a decent winner of $10,000. But now I'm back, I just lost 44,000. So now I was down 58,000 on Monday, recovered for 3 days, and now I'm down 44,000 plus 7,000. So I'm back to down $51,000 on the week. Fortunately, my daily average for the month of July, I guess we can check it, was pretty high, but that was in a large part thanks to some bigger wins at the beginning of the month. It certainly wasn't thanks to, the end of the month, but I averaged 53,000 a day. So I don't want to lose more than I can make in one good day. In the earlier part of the month, I was having a lot of days where it felt like, I'm looking for my calendar, where I felt like I was sort of, it was either sort of a small day or I was making like $50,000, $60,000. It's sort of one or the other. So, you know, I mean, these were just super strong days, but 50, 50, 90, 19, 16. So slow days there. And then, you know, obviously red minus 11, but then 57. I don't know. It just, yeah, seemed like obviously things have cooled down. So going into next week, I got to think about quality. In hindsight, I shouldn't have taken this trade. Well, I don't know. Honestly, this one I don't feel too bad about because this could have easily gone to 350 or 4. It just is what it is. The MWYN one, this was just a grinder. This was a cheap stock moving very slowly. That was an unnecessary loss because I probably wouldn't have even made that much money on it if it had even gone up. So that one I should have avoided. Stocks under $2 that are grinding and are heavy, not usually worth it. And then I just have to keep, you know, kind of my eye on these Chinese stocks because some of them could be a little tricky. So, yeah, you know, I think it's just the luck of the draw. It's the way the cookie crumbles, and easy come, easy go. So I'll be back at it bright and early on Monday morning. Those of you guys that haven't already done a 2-week trial, it's the new month of August, and you can spend the next 2 weeks watching me go through this process of how to recover from a drawdown, right? So you'll see it in real time while I'm trading. You'll see my P&L, you'll hear my commentary, you'll use the charts, the scanners, this whole platform right here you'll have access to during your trial. So that 2-week trial is $20, and it'll give you a chance to really see what it's like to be a trader, the ups and also the downs. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a link, I'll pin it to the top of the comments and put it in the description. I'll see you guys back at it bright and early on Monday morning. Okay, see you guys on Monday. And remember, trade in a simulator before putting real money on the line because trading is risky.